So spring is in the air, and with a new season comes a new list of shave soaps. So stay tuned for 5 shave soaps that I'm looking forward to using this spring. Now, whether this is your first time to the channel or you're returning, I want to just welcome you. And you may have seen me do these lists in the past, but my good friend Tim over at the Scented Soldier Shaves also made this spring soap idea a tag video. And it's a good thing that he tagged me because I had totally forgotten that it was time to do another list. So we have Tim to thank for this. Now, I know this is a total preference thing, but I, for one, like to wear fragrances and use scents through shave soaps and whatnot that complement the season. This is by no means prescriptive and that you should do this, but this is something that I enjoy doing. And if it's something that you want to try or it's something that you'd like to do as well, I just want to share my list of soaps with you today. Now, what I go for in spring scents is either something that's fresh and clean or something that's playing a certain green note, kind of something that might be slightly floral to indicate the blooming of the flowers or the greening of the leaves on the trees. Just something that might give a nod to being outdoors more after the cold of the winter, maybe being indoors more. You get the idea. So the following list is in no particular order, and I try to choose soaps that are actually in stock at either the artisan store or maybe one of the major vendors like West Coast Shaving or Maggot Razors. Before I forget, one thing I want to do differently with this list is basically share the notes that I get from my nose, and I'll include the actual scent notes in the description below. So first one up at number 1 is from Oleo Soapworks, and that is number 11. Alright, so number 11 by Oleo Soapworks is an inspired scent of Aunt the Barber's by Maison Martin Margiela. So to my nose, this is just a really luxurious, really nice shaving cream. It's one that has depth to it, it's slightly powdery, slightly floral, and pretty traditional in the way it's been composed. This is pretty much the go-to fresh and clean scent that I would reach for. As far as similar scents, this one, I would say that Fine American Blend is kind of in that same wheelhouse, but also I feel like they're trying to paint a similar picture where it's an old school barbershop. It's a place where you can just relax your mind a little bit. So if you like fresh and clean scents, if you like barbershop style scents, for sure check out number 11 by Oleo Soapworks. Next up at number 2, we have a recent release from Gentleman's Nod, and this is Kanpai. Now, I do want to start off by saying that Gentleman's Nod sent me this soap for promotional use, but I absolutely love the scent. So on the cover itself, it describes the scent as gin, yuzu, and anise. Now, to my nose, this is a really realistic interpretation of yuzu, and folks might not know what yuzu smells like. You might have a lack of a reference point, as yuzu is more often used in Japanese cooking. It's a citrus, basically, that naturally has this complexity in the fruit itself. And that means it has a little bit of bitterness, it has a little bit of earthiness. So if you think along the lines of a grapefruit, it's close, but I would say this is even more earthy than that, there's a little more something to it. Now, the scent itself was not inspired by straight yuzu, but rather a gin cocktail that utilizes the citrus. But this is just absolutely beautiful. It has, I think, something about that citrus and the earthiness. It's kind of oncoming brightness that's coming from rising temperatures, from plants and flowers coming back into bloom. So this, for whatever reason, just really brings my mind to spring, and is one that I definitely plan on using for the coming weeks. All right, moving on. Next at number 3, we have from Catie's Bubbles, Eau de Thé. So for Eau de Thé, when I got this back in the fall, upon first sniff, I knew that this would be making my spring soap list. So Eau de Thé is a wonderful green tea forward scent. And again, this is another one that's based on a drink. It's specifically like green tea scents that have, on top of that, a bit of a green note, something that harkens to an open field with flowers blooming. Then this might be the scent for you. There's a reason that Chris from Catie's Bubbles has been in this wet shaving scene for so long. So for sure, if you're looking for something a little different, something that might not smell like anything else in your den, for sure, check out Eau de Thé. Now, there's no way I can make a spring list without at least choosing one Fougere scent. So Fougere is French for fern, is a old school kind of classic type of fragrance. There's ways to make it more modern, there's ways to make it more traditional. Either way, this is a type of scent that there are a lot of in wet shaving. I think it's just one of those that has that relationship with traditional shaving. So a lot of your pharmacy classic aftershaves are Fougere types. One that comes immediately to mind is Brut. Now, I don't particularly care for the pharmacy aftershaves or the classic Fougeres. I do really like this one, and that is from Holy Cow. This is Bougie Bouquet. Now, off the top of my head, I forget what the accord is to make a Fougere, but when I sniff the tub itself, there's definitely, floral from, I would say lavender, oakmoss. Those two are always in there. There are other notes that make up this scent, which I will definitely look up and include in the description below. But I think this is one of the best Fougeres, or at least introductions to Fougeres, that are a little more crowd pleasing. If you don't like a lot of the older type scents, I think this is more in your wheelhouse as it is in mine. So yeah, if you're just curious, what this Fougere business is all about, this is a great one to start with. All right, so last but not least, at the number 5 spot, we have the Explorer from Zingari Man. So right off the label itself, the Explorer is described as citrus, woods, and vetiver. And this one actually is another inspired by scent. This one's inspired by Zingari Man Woods Essence. So off the tub, it does have that kind of complex, well-blended, cologne type scent, but I'm not sure if there's anything that I had already in my soap collection that quite smells like this one. There's a wonderful play between those main notes that are listed, citrus, woods, and vetiver. Vetiver, I know, can be kind of dark, kind of dank. I would say this more kind of just gives it a little oomph. It's not overly bitter scent. It's more about that citrus and woods. It's a wonderful scent that can be dressed up, dressed down, and honestly, I don't think it has to be remained just as a spring scent, although it does kind of call to mind things of the season. But I think this could be a good, all year round scent. So I think it's a really safe scent if you have been wanting to try soaps from Zingari Man. I feel like Heather, the artisan behind Zingari Man, is always trying to improve her products, whether that's the soap, aftershave products, and whatnot. So definitely check them out if you haven't done so before. So those are my choices for 5 shave soaps for the spring. I'm curious to know what your choices would be. It could be your one favorite for the spring. It could be your top 10. Whatever the case may be, no matter how big that list, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Now, this being a tag video, I also want to tag some friends and hear from them. So I do want to nominate DK, I want to nominate Ross, and I want to nominate Chris from INCDB. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I appreciate your time and your support. If you enjoyed the video, please like or share. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe so you don't miss out on any new videos. I hope you and your family are doing well and staying safe during this time. Thank you again. I'll catch you guys next time. Take care.